Beneath the Serengeti dawn, every breath is a gamble. A single moment of carelessness is paid for in flesh and blood. Hunter or hunted, neither can afford to turn back. This is the iron law of the Savannah. The first light sweeps across the plains, painting the shoulder-high grass in liquid gold. A pride of lionesses lies pressed flat against the earth. Their eyes are fixed, unblinking, on a herd of wildebeest grazing barely 100 feet away. This is not their first ambush, and it will not be their last. A lioness begins to move. "25, then 37 miles per hour. Her speed builds relentlessly, tearing through the stillness like a blade through silk. She hits 50 miles per hour in a single explosive burst. Her entire body, every sinew, every coiled muscle, launches forward like an arrow that cannot be stopped. The wildebeest erupt in panic, kicking up a blinding storm of dust. The lioness does not waver. She locks onto her target, a calf. The distance closes with terrifying speed. Death bears down upon a fragile life. Just as her claws are about to strike, the tables turn utterly and violently. The mother wildebeest drives straight into the predator horns lowered, 700 pounds of fury aimed like a battering ram. The hunt ends in failure not because the prey outran the hunter, but because the hunter gravely underestimated the savage fury of a mother. Across the African savanna, predators succeed in only 1 out of every 4 pursuits. The prey wins 3/4 of the time. But that statistic barely scratches the surface. The true battle on these plains is far more complex than anyone might imagine. For the lion's greatest enemy is not the wildebeest. It is other predators, rivals who will steal a hard-won meal from right under its nose. And sometimes, it is the prey itself that kills the lion. Let us step into this war without end. To understand the conflict, one must first understand the battlefield. And that battlefield stretches across some 11,500 square miles, the Serengeti. Each year, millions of wildebeest and hundreds of thousands of zebra trace a colossal circle, roughly 500 miles long, chasing the rains, chasing the fresh grass, chasing life itself. The Great Migration, the largest overland movement of animals on Earth, a living river that flows endlessly around the Serengeti and never stops. A moving banquet, stretching clear to the horizon, laid out for every predator on the savannah. But this banquet has teeth, and this is no peaceful journey on average. Each wildebeest must contend with at least 4 species of major predator along the way. A single wildebeest weighs anywhere from 265 to nearly 600 pounds, large enough to pose a serious danger to anything that dares come close. Fast enough to escape hitting 50 miles per hour in a flat-out sprint, matching a lion stride for stride at top speed. But their true weapon is neither speed nor strength. Their true weapon lies in numbers. The dilution effect, when the herd swells to thousands upon thousands, the odds of any single individual being singled out drop to almost nothing. When a lion charges, the entire herd detonates thousands of animals bolting simultaneously, scattering in every direction. This is the confusion effect, making it virtually impossible for the predator to lock onto any one target. And here is the most extraordinary thing of all. There is no leader. Not a single individual gives orders. Each wildebeest simply reacts to its nearest neighbor, and from that, a collective intelligence emerges. Scientists call it swarm intelligence, a self-organizing, collective decision-making system that requires no generals, no strategists, only thousands of brains working in concert. The most vulnerable prey is not the slowest runner. It is the one that strays from the herd, the one that is injured, the one walking at the edge, the one that becomes separated at a river crossing. And that is precisely what the predator waits for, the moment a single individual breaks away from the crowd, the moment the defensive wall reveals a crack. But wildebeest do not fight alone. Within the migrating columns, zebra walk alongside them, not by accident, but by design. Zebra crop the tall, coarse grass on top, exposing the shorter, nutrient-rich grass beneath for the wildebeest. One animal's meal reveals another's. 2 different species walking the same road, sharing the same reward. This is grazing facilitation, one of the most elegant symbiotic relationships on the savannah. But zebra carry weapons of their own. A single kick from a zebra generates a force of roughly 3,000 pounds more than enough to shatter a lion's jaw. When a predator draws near, the stallion positions himself squarely between the herd and the threat, a living barricade of striped hide and raw muscle. And if surrounded, the herd explodes outward in every direction, a flash expansion, disrupting the attacker in a manner entirely different from the wildebeest's stampede. A sharp, high-pitched alarm, a bark-like call, rings out across the plain, warning the entire herd before their eyes ever register the danger. But within this army of the savannah, there is one species that serves as the dedicated sentinel. The Topi antelope, a biological machine engineered for speed, capable of reaching 43 to 50 miles per hour, faster even than a lion. From atop towering termite mounds, they stand like living radar stations, scanning a full 360-degree sweep of the open plains. They are the tireless watchmen of the grasslands. Unlike smaller antelope species, Topi do not waste precious energy on dramatic vertical leaps. Instead, when they detect a threat, they lock their gaze onto the predator and emit a series of piercing, resonant snorts. The message could not be clearer. You have been seen. Do not bother. Once the cloak of stealth is torn away, the predator is almost always forced to abandon its approach. The element of surprise is gone, and pursuing a swift target, already at peak alertness, is an exercise in futility. Wildebeest rely on overwhelming numbers. Zebra wield bone-crushing kicks. Topi master the art of vigilance and psychological disruption. But only one prey species can make the king of the grasslands genuinely hesitate. The African Cape buffalo, 1,500 to nearly 2,000 pounds of dense, unyielding muscle, encased in hide as thick as armor. This is the only prey animal on the savannah that gives the predator genuine pause before committing to an attack. Atop its skull, a pair of horns fuse together into a structure known as the boss, a solid plate of bone weighing dozens of pounds, so dense that virtually nothing can penetrate it. To bring down a fully grown buffalo, lions require an entire coalition of lionesses working in concert. Anything less is a death wish. Because the buffalo does not flee, the buffalo turns and fights, and when it turns, nothing stands in its way. When a member of the herd is attacked, it bellows a deep, ground-shaking roar, and the entire herd hears. Hundreds, then thousands, wheel around and charge. Ecologists call this mobbing behavior, collective counterattack, not blind instinct, but strategy. A single buffalo charge can hurl a lion clean into the air and frequently proves fatal. On the battlefields of the Serengeti, the one with claws and fangs does not always hold the power. But does this wall of defense ever fail? Of course. No wall is truly impregnable, and the predator always finds the crack. Yet, if the defenses are so formidable, why do predators still exist at all? Why haven't they been eliminated from the game? Because the predators possess more than brute force. They have strategy, 4 distinct strategies, wielded by 4 different species, all serving a single purpose. Let us examine how those strategies work and the price each hunter must pay. On the Savannah, the lionesses are consummate specialists in the art of the hunt, deploying different skills depending on the prey and the conditions at hand. They can execute solitary takedowns of smaller quarry, or orchestrate elaborate, coordinated ambushes to bring down far larger targets. It is clear that tactics, stealth, and speed are entrusted entirely to these expert huntresses. Today, one of the super pride's most accomplished hunters has been tempted by a herd of zebra that has drifted within striking range. But zebra are no easy quarry. They possess extraordinarily acute senses and formidable defenses. Both lion and zebra can reach a top speed of roughly 35 miles per hour, but the zebra holds a decisive advantage. It can sustain that pace far longer. The lioness is a masterful blend of raw power and explosive speed, but her fatal weakness is endurance. She can maintain her maximum sprint for only about 300 feet, which means she must close the distance and catch her target completely off guard. What is more, zebra regularly deploy their powerful hind legs, delivering devastating rear kicks against both rivals and enemies alike. Despite the danger, When the moment arrives, the lioness seizes it, exploding from cover and clamping her jaws around the zebra's throat. The struggle is immense, for a male zebra can weigh twice as much as a lioness. As the first lioness locks onto the throat, the rest of the pride surges forward to assist. One after another, they leap upon the zebra, driving their claws deep, overwhelming the animal through sheer collective force. Under relentless pressure, the zebra's strength finally gives way. It crashes to the grass, utterly subdued. As the zebra feast begins, competition for food is ferocious even within a close-knit pride. There is no pecking order whatsoever among the cubs gathered around the kill. Every single lion must fight fiercely, desperately, to claim its own share. The cheetah, the fastest land animal on Earth, does not hunt with strength. It does not hunt with numbers. It hunts with pure, undiluted speed. From a standing start to 60 miles per hour in 3 seconds, rivaling a high-performance sports car. Its body is a masterpiece of natural engineering, sculpted by 40 million years of evolution for one singular purpose: the kill. In 2013, a GPS tracking study, led by Alan Wilson, published in the journal Nature, recorded a real-world top speed of approximately 58 miles per hour, lower than the 70 miles per hour figure so often quoted. The long tail acts as both rudder and counterbalance, enabling hairpin turns at extreme speed without losing stability. But speed exacts a terrible toll. Each chase lasts only 20 to 60 seconds, after which the cheetah's core temperature rockets to around 106 degrees Fahrenheit, the absolute threshold before the body begins to destroy itself. It is a race between velocity and death. If the prey is not caught within that first minute, the hunt is over. Not because the prey is faster, but because the cheetah will die if it pushes any further. Success rate: 40 to 58% per chase, the highest of any large cat hunting alone. Because speed demands an unforgiving trade-off: fragility. At just 75 to 119 pounds, the cheetah simply cannot defend its kill against a lion or a mob of aggressive hyenas. And so the cheetah must eat fast, bolting down its meal, before something larger catches the scent. Sometimes there are only minutes between triumph and total loss. "10 to 15% of the prey that cheetahs work so desperately to catch is stolen by lions or hyenas. And optimal foraging theory explains why cheetahs will often abandon a hunt if they detect any risk of injury, because in a body built purely for speed, a single broken leg is a death sentence. The fastest, but also the most vulnerable. If the lioness represents collective power and the cheetah represents speed, then there is a third hunter that has chosen the path of absolute silence. The leopard, the ghost of the savannah. Its coat of rosette markings dissolves into the dappled light, filtering through the canopy, as though the animal simply does not exist. One could walk within 10 feet of it and never know. By day, it lies draped across the kopje's granite outcrops that jut from the grasslands or concealed deep within the woodland. Invisible, patient beyond measure. While lions patrol their territories and cheetahs sweep the open plains in search of prey, the leopard waits, sometimes for hours on end, without so much as a twitch, only its amber eyes tracking the silhouette of its quarry. When the moment comes, it closes to within 16 to 33 feet before launching its strike. That is roughly the distance from where you sit to the far wall of your living room. Its bite force registers at approximately 300 psi, delivering death either by suffocation or by a single, precise bite to the base of the skull. Success rate: approximately 38% lower than the cheetahs, because everything depends on getting close enough without being detected. The hoist hauling the kill up into a tree is the leopard's life insurance. On the ground, lions and hyenas would take everything. This singular ability is the leopard's supreme advantage on the savannah. Without the hoist, the leopard loses up to 20% of its kills to larger competitors. The leopard is the most adaptable large cat on the planet, thriving on the savannah, in rainforest, at altitudes of up to 18,500 feet on Kilimanjaro, in deserts, and even in the sprawl of human cities. When no lions are nearby, it grows bolder, hunting larger prey, even in broad daylight. But when lions are present, the strategy shifts. Spatial avoidance and the vertical escape up into the trees. In the Great War of the Savannah, the quietest hunter is sometimes the one that endures the longest. But there remains a fourth strategy, and it belongs to the most underestimated predator in all of Africa. The African wild dog, weighing just 40 to 79 pounds, the smallest of the continent's major predators. Yet with a success rate of 60 to 90%, they are the single most effective hunters on the entire continent. Compare. Lions succeed 30% of the time, cheetahs 50%, leopards 38%, wild dogs 60 to 90. The numbers speak for themselves. The secret: relay hunting. One dog surges ahead in pursuit. When it tires, it falls back. Another immediately takes its place, maintaining the chase at 34 to 41 miles per hour. The prey never gets to rest, never gets to breathe, never gets to slow down. The pursuit stretches on for 10 to 60 minutes. Exhaustion is a death sentence. Once the quarry is brought down, the entire pack coordinates flanking maneuvers, driving prey into open ground or water with the precision of a trained military unit. But before each hunt, the pack holds a vote by sneezing. In 2017, a study published in the Proceedings of the Royal Society B revealed, the more sneezes, the greater the consensus. And once a kill is made, the entire meal is finished in 5 to 10 minutes. Swift, efficient. Because if they linger, lions or hyenas will come to steal it. Every adult regurgitates food for the pups, and the injured, the young eat first. It is a solidarity rarely seen in the world of predators, where most species feed strictly in order of dominance. African wild dogs always retreat when they encounter lions. The weight disparity is too vast, the risk far too high. Every confrontation ends in deference. The paradox of the savannah. The most successful hunter ranks at the very bottom of the power hierarchy, robbed by lions, driven off by hyenas, the most skilled, yet the most powerless. Which strategy do you think is most effective? Collective strength, pure speed, silent ambush, or relay hunting? Let WildVerse know in the comments below. Four strategies, four hunters. But they do not merely face their prey, they compete with one another for every last scrap of meat. And sometimes, it is the prey that emerges as the ultimate victor. What happens next will overturn everything you have just seen. Until now, we have watched the hunters attack with power, with speed, with silence, and with the tactics of the pack. But on the savannah, there comes a moment when everything is reversed. The moment the prey becomes the hunter. Afternoon. Across the vast open grassland, the pride's lionesses have fixed their gaze upon an aging buffalo moving steadily within the herd. This is an opportunity to assert dominance. The lionesses fan out with practiced precision, maneuvering to isolate the weakened elder from the stronger members of the group. Sensing the threat, the herd erupts into panic, a thundering stampede that leaves the old buffalo slower and heavier, trailing behind. With ferocious power and unyielding resolve, these supreme huntresses launch themselves at their quarry in a single devastating surge. Heedless of the lethal horns, weapons capable of killing in an instant, their claws sink deep, dragging the buffalo down onto the sun-baked grass. The hunt ends in overwhelming fashion. The old buffalo collapses, a testament to the unrivaled strength and coordination of the pride. After the feast, the tension of the life and death chase gradually dissolves into the fading light of dusk. The lionesses stretch out lazily in the tall grass, half closing their eyes as the cool evening breeze drifts across the plains. Gone are the urgent snarls and pounding footfalls. Gone every trace of the ferocity one expects from the savannah's apex predators. Stripped of their fearsome exterior, they are, in this moment, nothing more than oversized house cats, drowsy, languid, rubbing heads, and grooming one another with quiet devotion. Several roll onto their backs with utter abandon, exposing bellies of golden fur bathed in the soft, honeyed light of the late afternoon. A deep, unhurried peace settles over the pride, granting them the freedom to rest and drift into gentle sleep, their energy fully replenished. In the distance, a safe distance, the great buffalo herd continues its unhurried rhythm, as though nothing has happened at all. The death of one member moments ago is not enough to disrupt the order and routine of hundreds of other healthy buffalo. The law of the wild has always been thus. Life and death weave ceaselessly together, each accepting the other as an inevitable strand in the fabric of the natural food chain. The herd lowers its heads to graze on tender young grass, occasionally sipping the cool droplets of evening dew that have gathered along the edges of the shallows. A few calves play with innocent abandon, scampering and nuzzling around their mother's legs in the dimming light of the day's final hour. The massive silhouettes of the herd stand etched against a sky blazing in shades of amber and crimson, composing a tableau of the wild that is at once serene and magnificent. A handful of familiar little oxpeckers alight delicately upon the buffalo's broad backs, calmly picking off the ticks that lurk beneath the hide. There is no lingering hatred, no residual terror between the two sides of the mortal divide once the brutal hunt has drawn to a close. With bellies full of fresh meat, the lions grow idle and pay no mind whatsoever to the prey grazing serenely along the horizon. That exquisite moment at sunset reveals a truth to the world. Across this vast wilderness, the rhythm of survival does not revolve solely around blood and roaring. Hidden behind every violent encounter lies the absolute, exquisite equilibrium of an ecosystem that has endured for millions of years. An afternoon of upheaval finally closes with a gentle hush where both hunter and herd find a moment of peace beneath the same sky. The spotted hyena, the most misunderstood animal in all of Africa. For decades, documentaries portrayed them as scavengers, cowardly, filthy, merely trailing behind others to steal the leftovers. "50 to 95% of their own food. And what is more shocking still, at Ngorongoro, it is the lions that steal from the hyenas, not the other way around. Natural history turned on its head. The creature branded a coward was, in truth, a formidable hunter, and the one celebrated as king was, in fact, a thief. Spotted hyenas hunt through sheer endurance, pursuing prey at roughly 37 miles per hour over distances of up to 3 miles, running until the quarry is utterly spent. Their stomach acid registers a pH of approximately 110 times more powerful than a human's, enabling them to digest even bone. Hyena droppings are white, that is, the calcium from the bones they consume. A hyena clan can number in the hundreds. Hunting parties are smaller, and their society operates under a strict matriarchy. Every female outranks every male. Success rate when hunting as a group, 26 to 34%, not at all inferior to the lion, despite decades of being maligned as a mere scavenger. Behind that extraordinary capacity for relentless pursuit, the true nature of the spotted hyena reveals itself in moments of quiet repose. Rather than roaming ceaselessly in search of food, as popular myth would have it, they spend the greater part of the day sleeping and restoring their energy. As the African sun grows fierce, the entire clan gathers beneath the shade, transforming a corner of the savannah into a haven of absolute stillness. The raucous calls and piercing cackles of the active hours vanish, replaced only by the steady breathing of dozens of individuals deep in slumber. Contrary to their fearsome reputation, hyena mothers in these moments are remarkably gentle, lying perfectly still as their small cubs clamber and tumble across their backs. Even the lowest-ranking males in the hierarchy find a quiet corner of their own, eyes closed, peacefully absorbing the calm of the clan. Once bellies are full, every trace of tension and savagery from the battle for survival is set aside entirely. The clan sprawls lazily around shallow pools, submerging themselves in the cool mud to escape the scorching afternoon sun. The young cubs wrestle and nip at one another on the grass in carefree play, while the adults lie on their backs at leisure, nuzzling heads and grooming one another tenderly beneath the serene quiet of the savannah. On the savannah, it is not merely the best hunter that survives. It is the one best at keeping its kill. Hyenas steal from lions. Lions steal from hyenas. Buffalo kill lions. Wild dogs are the most skilled, yet the most powerless. Cheetahs are the fastest, yet the most fragile. Leopards are the quietest, yet the most enduring. In this war, there is no absolute victor. So, in the end, who controls the savannah? The answer lies in a picture far larger than any single hunt. Step back beyond the sounds of the chase, beyond the dust clouds of stampeding herds, and look upon this entire ecosystem from above. A vast territory where all the apex predators share a single arena of survival. And millions of herbivores serve as a steady conveyor belt of sustenance, nourishing the entire food pyramid above them. But this relationship does not flow in one direction alone. The predators regulate the numbers of their prey, preventing wildebeest herds from growing beyond control, preventing them from grazing the grasslands to dust. This is top-down regulation, control from above. And when the grasslands are not stripped bare, the vegetation regenerates. The roots hold the soil holds the water. The water feeds the grass feeds the wildebeest. The wildebeest feeds the lion. This is the trophic cascade, A single change at the top of the food chain sends ripples cascading down to the very bottom, from predator to grass, from grass to soil, from soil to water. A circle, not the poetic circle we so often hear about, but a precision-engineered ecological machine where every cog depends upon the next. Beneath it all, volcanic soils from Ngorongoro and Old Doinyo Lengai deliver the minerals, the nutritional bedrock upon which the entire ecosystem stands. Without volcanic soil, there is no mineral-rich grass. Without grass, there is no great migration. Without the migration, there are no predators. Every species in today's story is a single link in this chain. Remove one link, and the entire chain begins to falter. On the savannah, no one is in control. Everything is connected within an invisible web. Predators need prey. Prey need predators to keep the herds healthy, and both need the ground beneath their feet. The war between hunter and hunted is not a war for one side to win. It is a war for both sides to endure. And this war has raged for millions of years, long before humans ever walked the earth. But now, the balance is tipping. The African lion, classified as vulnerable by the IUCN, populations in severe decline, nearly halved in the past 2 decades. Only 8% of their historical range remains. The 2025 Green Status Report assessment largely depleted. The cheetah populations, small and fragmented. 67% live outside protected areas where conflict with humans is at its highest, approaching the threshold of endangered. The African wild dog endangered. Populations scattered across dozens of small, isolated groups, many too small to maintain genetic diversity. Habitat fragmentation is tearing their living space apart, day by day. The leopard vulnerable, numbers uncertain, populations fragmented. West and Central Africa in severe decline. The spotted hyena, least concern, but declining locally. Populations contracting across many regions. The topi, antelope, vulnerable. Several subspecies have already been classified as endangered. The zebra near threatened, declining outside protected areas. The Cape buffalo near threatened, imperiled by bovine tuberculosis. And even the wildebeest, the most abundant of them all, faces an uncertain future as fences cut across its ancient migration routes. Every single species in today's story is in decline. Every one. And these are not abstract statistics. These are figures drawn from the IUCN Red List, gathered by scientists who have devoted their entire lives to the field, and every year the numbers sink lower than the year before. When a predator vanishes, the chain of life loses a link. When the herds shrink, the predators have nothing left to sustain them. Habitat fragmentation does not merely reduce space. It dismantles the very war that has kept the savanna in balance for millions of years. And once that balance is broken, no one knows whether it can ever be restored. Every fence that cuts across the Serengeti is a wound upon the body of the ecosystem. Every patch of land that disappears is a missing piece from a puzzle that nature spent millions of years perfecting. The war on the savanna does not need a winner, but it needs both sides still standing on the field. And the question is no longer, who controls the savanna? The question now is, will the savanna endure long enough for the war to continue? Dawn rises once more over the Serengeti. The sunlight sweeps across the plains again, painting the shoulder-high grass in gold once more exactly as it did on that very first morning. The same pride of lionesses, the same herd of wildebeest grazing beneath the early light. The lioness rises again, drops low into the grass again, deploys the formation once more, wings fanning to either side, the center coiled and waiting, the same tactics, honed across millions of years. She charges again, and fails again. But she will return, tomorrow, the day after, and the day after that, because on the savanna, this war never ends, and neither side is permitted to win. The Serengeti does not belong to the lion. It does not belong to the wildebeest. It belongs to the war itself, the war that, should it ever cease, would bring everything crashing down. Thank you for joining us here at WildVerse. The natural world still holds countless stories waiting to be told. If you have not yet subscribed, there has never been a better moment. We shall see you on the next journey. Branding welcome to WildVerse. where we explore the most extraordinary stories the natural world has to offer. Beneath the African sun, where the heat smothers even the shade, a pride of lions lies motionless across a scorched golden grassland. They are not resting. They are waiting. About 1,000 feet away, beneath the murky surface of a lake, an adult hippopotamus weighing over 3,000 pounds soaks in the mud. Hippos, the animal responsible for more human deaths in Africa than lions, crocodiles, and venomous snakes combined. Their jaws gape open to 150 degrees, with a bite force approaching 2,000 pounds per square inch, enough to snap a wooden boat in half. But on land, the hippo loses its greatest advantage. No water to conceal its massive frame, no current to propel its bulk. And the lions know it. The lead lioness, the one researchers on the Okavango Delta call Malkia, meaning queen in Swahili, inches toward the water's edge. African lions are the only big cats that live in social groups, and cooperative hunting is their decisive weapon. A mature pride can number up to 20 individuals, with 6 to 8 females serving as the primary hunters, coordinating through signals of eyes, ears, and body position. Solo hunting success rates hover around 17%, but when coordinated, that number climbs to 30%, and against a hippo, every percentage point marks the line between life and death. Malkia signals. 2 females flank left, 3 circle behind. Not a sound. The hippo begins moving toward the far bank, where a path leads down to the water. It senses the danger, but on land, its top speed reaches only about 19 miles per hour, while lions can burst to 31 miles per hour in short sprints. Chase begins. Nearly 2,000 pounds of lion muscle charges toward 3,000 pounds of thick hide and bone. Jaws agape. The hippo pivots, revealing canine teeth up to 20 inches long, each weighing nearly 7 pounds, honed razor-sharp by the constant grinding of upper and lower teeth. A single bite can kill a lion instantly. Malkia dodges sideways. 10 years of hunting on the savannah have taught her one rule: never confront a hippo head-on. Exhaustion strategy. The pride rotates attacks from multiple angles, forcing the hippo to spin continuously, draining its energy until its hind legs begin to tremble. Lions are the only big cat family members in which males bear a mane, not merely to attract mates, but as a shield protecting the neck and shoulders during territorial battles. A fully grown male weighs up to 500 pounds, crowned with a dark mane, a marker of high testosterone and superior health. Yet today, the hunt belongs to the females. After 40 minutes of confrontation, the hippo is spent. 4 legs can no longer support that immense frame. Malkia strikes the decisive blow. The pride surges in. On the African savannah, no victory comes without blood, and no meal is earned without risking life itself. This is the law. Every species understands the strongest is not the largest, but the one that coordinates. African lions once roamed across 3 continents. Today, only around 20,000 remain in the wild, a decline of more than 43% in just 2 decades. Habitat loss, human conflict, and poaching are driving the king of beasts to the brink, not by nature's hand, but by the very species that calls itself the most intelligent. The hippopotamus faces a similar peril. Classified as near threatened in 2006, the IUCN has since elevated them to vulnerable, with numbers dropping to between 115,000 and 130,000 individuals. Yet this confrontation on the sun-scorched savannah is only one chapter in a far larger story. Because water the resource lions and hippos are fighting over does not end at the rivers of Africa. It flows to the sea, it merges with the ocean, and out there, where warm equatorial currents sweep across the Atlantic, another world awaits. Over 4,000 miles from the Okavango, off the coast of Abrolhos in Brazil, Earth's largest creatures are gathering not to fight, but to sing, to give birth, and to uphold a covenant older than the lion itself. From the sun-scorched savannah to the deepest ocean, from land predators to hidden kingdoms beneath the waves, today's voyage will traverse every layer of life. But before descending into the abyss, the journey begins where light floods the surface, the ocean's skin, where every breath owes a debt to Earth's smallest living things. Phytoplankton, trillions upon trillions of organisms, smaller than a pinpoint, drifting across the ocean's surface, bathed in sunlight. They have no eyes, no brain, no heart. Yet they produce more than 50% of Earth's oxygen, more than the Amazon rainforest, the Siberian taiga, and every forest on land combined. Every second breath belongs to the ocean. Phytoplankton do not accomplish this alone. They form the first link in a symbiotic chain of staggering proportions, where the smallest feed the largest and the largest repay the debt by nourishing the smallest. Scientists call it the whale pump. Blue whales dive hundreds of feet, swallow krill, then surface to release fecal plumes rich in iron and nitrogen, precisely what phytoplankton need to photosynthesize. A flawless cycle. Neither can survive without the other. From this light-drenched surface, the descent begins through radiant coral cities, across the vast open ocean, into perpetual darkness where pressure crushes steel and temperatures melt lead. At every depth, countless species endure through pacts that science has only begun to decode. And the first layer awaits where sunlight pierces the water, painting blue across a city that never sleeps. Coral reefs cover less than 1% of the ocean floor, yet 25% of all marine life calls them home. This is the ocean's most crowded metropolis, where every square inch is claimed, every crevice is territory, and every pact is a contract of life and death. At the heart of this city, among sea anemone tentacles swaying in the current, clownfish live lives that millions know by name, thanks to an animated film. Yet their true story surpasses anything the cinema has ever imagined. Clownfish are among the very few fish immune to anime venom thanks to a specialized mucus coating their entire body, rendering them invisible to their host's stinging cells. In return, clownfish defend their anemone from butterflyfish tentacle grazers and improve water circulation with constant tail fanning. A symbiosis in which neither side can survive without the other. The most stunning detail lies in their ability to change sex. Within each clownfish group, the largest female reigns as leader. Should she die, the dominant male transforms into a female within weeks, assuming command as though fate had written it into the genetic code. Nature does not concern itself with human conventions. Nature concerns itself only with survival. A few feet away, another scene unfolds so strange that without witnessing it firsthand, it would seem like fiction. A grouper, one of the reef's fiercest predators, lies still, mouth agape, while a tiny cleaner shrimp steps between its jaws. Cleaner shrimp operate what marine biologists call cleaning stations, underwater hospitals, where enemies line up and wait their turn. Large fish, small fish, even moray eels, all honor an unwritten treaty. Within the cleaning station, no one bites. Parasites, dead skin, bacteria, the shrimp picks them all off. In exchange, it is protected by the very creatures capable of swallowing it whole in a heartbeat. This is a peace accord more stable than any treaty upheld by nations on land. Not everyone in the Coral City waits patiently, however. Some hunt through cunning, and none do it more terrifyingly than the moray eel. The moray eel possesses something no other fish has: a double set of jaws. The outer set grips prey in the mouth. The second, the pharyngeal jaw, rockets from deep in the throat, dragging the victim inward. This mechanism recalls the xenomorph from the film Alien, but this is no science fiction. This is 400 million years of evolution. Morays do not hunt alone. They partner with groupers, one of the rarest examples of interspecies intelligence in nature. The grouper shudders its entire body before the moray is signaled to hunt together. The moray enters the crevice, flushing prey out. The grouper waits outside to intercept. Two species, two tactics, one shared meal. Leaving the Coral City behind, swimming out into the open ocean where the seafloor vanishes into deep blue darkness, the world transforms entirely. No crevices to shelter in, no coral to cling to. Only water, boundless, endless, and cold. This is the domain of giants. Blue whales, the largest creatures ever to exist on Earth, dwarfing every dinosaur, surpassing everything 4 billion years of evolution has produced. Nearly 100 feet long, over 200 tons. A heart weighing roughly 400 pounds, the size of a small golf cart, beating a languid 2 strokes per minute during deep dives. Each heartbeat pumps approximately 58 gallons of blood through the aorta, wide enough for a child to swim through. Its tongue weighs as much as a full-grown elephant, 3 to 4 tons. And when its mouth opens, 90 tons of seawater flood in with a single gulp. Immensity does not mean invulnerability. Only 10,000 to 25,000 blue whales remain across all the world's oceans. After centuries of hunting, the most massive creature on Earth has become one of its rarest. Calls reaching 188 decibels, louder than a jet engine, carry up to 1,000 miles through seawater. That is how they locate each other, where a mate may drift thousands of miles away. A blue whale calf enters the world at 23 feet long, 2.5 tons, gaining 200 pounds daily on milk, 10 times richer in fat than cow's milk. Each adult blue whale, in life and in death, stores carbon equivalent to 30,000 trees. Not merely creatures living climate regulation systems. Open ocean does not belong solely to the largest. It also belongs to the finest singer. Humpback whales, 52 feet long, 36 tons, with pectoral fins stretching 16 feet, the longest of any mammal. Each year, they migrate nearly 6,000 miles round trip, from feeding grounds near Antarctica to the warm breeding waters of Abrolhos, Brazil. And along that journey, they sing. Their songs span 20 minutes, repeating for hours, with melodies shifting each year, yet synchronized across the population as though thousands of whales had collectively rewritten the score. Yet there is one individual that scientists call the 52 Hz whale, singing at 52 Hz, while its kind communicates between 15 and 25 Hz. No one hears it. For decades, it has wandered alone across the Pacific, the loneliest creature science has ever documented. When hunting, humpback whales coordinate a technique no other species can replicate: bubble net feeding. A group spirals beneath a school of fish, blowing bubbles that form an impenetrable wall. Fish trapped in the vortex have nowhere to flee as the whales surge from below, mouths agape. Flukes spanning 16 feet slam the surface at 17 miles per hour, elegant and lethal in the same stroke. Still, even here, a hunter commands the caution of ocean kings, one that conquers not through size, but through intelligence. "20 to 33 feet long, weighing up to 10 tons, the orca is the supreme apex predator of every ocean. They do not hunt alone. They hunt in pods, with tactics so sophisticated that marine biologists compare them to military strategy. Today's target, a humpback whale calf, only a few weeks old, swimming close to its mother in warm waters. The orcas split into smaller units, 2 flanking the sides, 3 generating shock waves with their tails, 1 driving straight between mother and calf, forcing them apart. "35 miles per hour in short bursts, faster than any submarine ever built by human hands. The humpback mother fights back. 16-foot pectoral fins crash down like hammers, a single blow powerful enough to kill an orca. The standoff stretches for hours. The orcas do not always prevail. The mother does not always save her calf. A precarious equilibrium between 2 forces, a law the ocean inscribed millions of years ago. Yet the orca's true power lies not in muscle, it lies in the brain. Orcas possess distinct dialects. Each pod speaks a different language, passed from mother to offspring across generations, much the way humans transmit culture. Family bonds last a lifetime. No orca ever leaves the pod. Grandmothers teach grandchildren to hunt. Mothers teach calves to communicate. Knowledge built over millennia, not through genes, but through language. For anyone who still considers them mere machines honed by evolution, consider this story. In 2018, a female orca named Tahlequah of J-Pod, off Washington State, lost her newborn calf. Rather than abandon the body, Tahlequah pushed her dead calf across the surface for 17 days, covering roughly 1,000 miles. "17 days without eating. 17 days carrying a dead child through every wave. That is grief. That is a mother's love any parent on earth can comprehend. Welcome to WildVerse, where intelligence and muscle collide to determine who rules the grassland. Akagera, 3 in the morning, no moon, The savannah holds its breath beneath a canopy of equatorial stars. A silhouette detaches from the darkness low, stocky, moving flush against the earth without stirring a single leaf. Muscle ripples beneath tawny fur, as each paw finds its mark with surgical quiet. The lead lioness halts mid-stride, every sinew locking into position. Both forepaws pin the ground like anchors. Golden eyes, glowing faintly in the starlight, lock onto a herd of Cape buffalo sleeping 130 feet ahead. Behind her, 5 more lionesses fan into a flawless arc, 3 sealing the right flank, 2 cutting off the only retreat toward the papyrus marsh. No sound, no signal, only the accumulated experience of thousands of hunts. Seven lions from South Africa were released into Akagera, 2 males, 5 females. A historic reintroduction that ended more than a decade without an apex predator atop the food chain. Two additional males arrived later to broaden the genetic pool and prevent the bottleneck that threatens small founder populations. A lion dynasty was being rebuilt from nothing, one hunt, one generation at a time. Tonight, the lead lioness does not hunt out of hunger. She hunts to teach her daughter's young lionesses that have never brought down a full-grown Cape buffalo. The bull at the head of the herd lurches upright. Nearly 2,000 pounds of corded muscle, bone, and fighting instinct. The fused horn boss crowning its forehead is as thick as poured concrete. Three seconds. The savannah erupts. Dust spirals upward, blotting out the stars. Roars crash against one another. Through the Akagera night, lion and buffalo, indistinguishable. The youngest lioness sinks her teeth into a buffalo's neck for the first time. She trembles, but she does not let go. Beside her, her mother pins the prey's hind legs, teaching through action, not sound. When dawn creeps across the savannah, the pride lies around the carcass. Bellies swollen, muzzles crusted red. The young lioness licks blood from her paw, the first lesson complete. Across the African savannah, a question as old as the grasslands themselves, millions of years in the asking, remains unanswered. Brain or brawn in this theater of evolution, which ultimately decides who lives and who dies. Fangs, horns, jaws, sheer numbers, every species on this grassland wields a weapon honed by natural selection. But any creature that relies on a single advantage alone will not endure the trials that Akagera imposes. From the political cunning of baboons to the cross-generational memory of elephants, each species on this grassland carries a strategy sharpened over millions of years of trial and elimination. A blueprint written not in ink, but in survival itself. Lions have the pride, leopards have darkness, crocodiles have time. Hippos hold territory beneath the water, and the black rhino carries a horn the entire world covets. Yet intelligence, for all its power, has its limits. In Akagera, there is a threshold beyond which even the most sophisticated neural architecture cannot provide protection. The story begins not with the strongest nor the fastest, but with the most cunning creature on the African grassland. Consider the baboon. Among Africa's wildlife, few species possess a brain as complex, as calculating, and as devious as the Chacma baboon, the largest of all baboon species, and a primate that has elevated politics to an art of survival. With a cranial capacity of roughly 140 cubic centimeters, comparable in relative size to some of the great apes, they rank among the primates, with the highest social intelligence anywhere on the African grasslands. Scientists call this form of cognition Machiavellian intelligence, named after the Renaissance political theorist. Not a brain built for solving abstract equations, but one exquisitely calibrated for manipulation, coalition building, and strategic betrayal. An adult male weighs close to 90 pounds of compact, combative muscle. Canines stretching 2 inches long protrude from powerful jaws, sharper than the fangs of a leopard and capable of inflicting wounds that rival those of any predator. Yet fangs are not the baboon's primary weapon. Strategy, cold, deliberate, and ruthlessly applied is. Within a baboon troop, power does not belong to the largest individual or the one with the longest fangs. It belongs to the one with the most allies, the one who has invested the most in social capital. The alpha male holds his throne not through violence alone, but through a web of carefully maintained alliances, grooming partners for hours each day, guarding their offspring against rival males, sharing choice morsels of foraged food. When the coalition fractures, the alpha fractures with it. Power in this society, much like in human politics, is not inherited but constructed on loyalty. A deposed male does not merely lose mating rights. He is pushed to the fringe of the troop, stripped of feeding priority, abandoned by former allies. Sometimes the ousted leader dies not at the jaws of a leopard or a lion, but at the hands of the very allies who turned their backs. Loyalty in the wild always carries a price. But the political intelligence of baboons extends far beyond internal power struggles. At Ruaha, Tanzania, field researchers documented a phenomenon that challenged conventional understanding of animal behavior, an interspecies pact forged between mortal enemies. Baboons and lionesses coexist within overlapping ranges without open conflict. This is not peace in any conventional sense. This is a treaty cold, pragmatic, and mutually enforced. The baboon troop serves as sentinels. From elevated ground, they monitor every movement across the grassland. When a mutual threat appears, a leopard slipping into the territory, or an aggressive buffalo closing in the baboon's alarm, call sounds first. The lionesses hear the alarm and prepare muscles coiling, eyes scanning the bush. In return, in an arrangement that defies the usual rules of predation, the lionesses do not attack the troop. A tacit accord, unspoken yet obeyed by both sides. A cost-benefit calculation so sophisticated that only a species possessing advanced social cognition could conceive and maintain it across generations. But every treaty has its boundaries. The baboon's most dangerous enemy is not the lion, it is the leopard. The leopard, weighing roughly 130 pounds of lean, explosive muscle. Its coat covered in rosette markings, each spot a unique spiral that never repeats, like a fingerprint etched in fur. In Acacia, the leopard reigns as the most successful nocturnal predator in the reserve. No noise, no pack, no wasted movement, only darkness, stealth, and a patience that borders on the infinite. After nightfall, the leopard's eyes become weapons. The tapetum lucidum, a mirror-like membrane behind the retina, amplifies light 6 times more efficiently than the human eye. Darkness, the very veil that conceals prey from every other hunter, becomes the leopard's absolute and exclusive advantage. An adult leopard can haul a kill weighing twice its own body mass into a tree more than 30 feet above the ground. Beyond the reach of any earthbound scavenger or rival predator, a risk calculation energy expenditure versus caloric return that only a solitary hunter operating without the safety net of a pack ever needs to make. On the ground, a leopard must compete with lions and other kleptoparasites. Dragging the kill aloft, it keeps the meal for itself. The strategy of the solitary predator, perfected over millennia. No pack to share the spoils, no allies to call upon, only dense muscle, infinite patience, and eyes that pierce the darkest African night. But when confronted by a full baboon troop in broad daylight, 40 or 50 pairs of eyes tracking every movement, every one of the leopard's advantages dissolves. Baboons respond with a tactic known as mobbing. 20, 30, sometimes 50 individuals encircle the predator. Screaming, bearing dagger-like canines, charging from every conceivable direction in a coordinated frenzy. One baboon is prey. 50 baboons, each armed with 2-inch fangs and furious intent, are a predator's worst nightmare. The leopard's success rate when attacking an adult baboon in daylight, inside the troop, is virtually zero. Baboons account for less than 5% of the leopard's diet. That statistic tells the entire story. But darkness rewrites the equation entirely. When night falls and the troop retreats to cliff faces for safety, those individuals sleeping at the outer edge, Horsutis, the youngest, the weakest, the least socially connected, become devastatingly easy targets. No alarm sounds, no mobbing rally forms, no alliance forged in daylight can rescue the one caught in deep, vulnerable sleep at the cliff's outer edge. The leopard scales the rock face in absolute silence, claws gripping stone without producing a whisper of sound. It selects its quarry, strikes, and vanishes before the troop can wake. Machiavellian intelligence, the baboon's greatest evolutionary asset, saves it by day. But after dark, when allies cannot see and coalitions cannot form, that intelligence is rendered worthless. And if the leopard is the enemy the baboon can see, there is another threat, one entirely invisible. The African rock python, more than 16 feet of coiled, patterned muscle, weighing over 220 pounds, Africa's largest serpent. A masterpiece of natural selection, tens of millions of years of evolution, distilled into a single instrument, engineered for one purpose alone: constriction. The rock python does not chase its prey. It waits, for hours, for days, for weeks if necessary. Lying motionless beneath a blanket of decaying leaves, its heat-sensing labial pits scanning the surroundings until the quarry steps within reach. When it strikes, the speed defies the naked eye. A blur of patterned muscle launching forward at a velocity that the human brain cannot process in real time. Coils lock around the victim in a single, suffocating instant. With each exhaled breath, the python tightens its grip a fraction more. Researchers have demonstrated that death arrives not from suffocation, but from cardiac arrest. The python detects the prey's heartbeat through its own skin. Each pulse grows fainter. The snake knows precisely when the victim has died. Only when the heart ceases entirely does the coil relax. Tens of millions of years of evolution have produced a flawless cardiac monitor, a biological pressure sensor wrapped in scales. Against this primordial predator, all political intelligence, all carefully negotiated alliances, all coordinated mobbing tactics are rendered meaningless. The Machiavellian brain, the baboon's supreme evolutionary advantage, is utterly powerless before pure, unhurried compression. But in Akagera, brute force does not always prevail. Leave the baboon troop and its Machiavellian politics behind, and step into terrain where the rules are written in bone and horn, and every footfall could be the last. Akagera. Over 430 square miles of rolling grassland, sun-bleached open woodland, and papyrus-choked wetland, Central Africa's largest protected wetland ecosystem. A landscape where every survival strategy ever devised by evolution is put to its ultimate test. "18 eastern black rhinos were translocated from South Africa in a landmark conservation operation. The species once native to these hills had been absent from Rwanda for more than a decade, hunted to local extinction. 5 more individuals from European zoos joined afterward. Each one carries on its shoulders the weight of an entire critically endangered species on the IUCN Red List. In Akagera, they were given a second chance. Weighing more than 2,200 pounds of solid, armor-plated frame, a keratin horn stretching beyond 2 feet, growing continuously throughout the animal's lifetime. The black rhino is the living embodiment of primal, ungovernable power. The kind of power that needs no strategy, no coalition, no cunning, just mass and fury channeled through a single devastating point. When threatened, the black rhino charges head-on at speeds exceeding 30 miles per hour. No calculation, no hesitation, only a 2-foot horn and 2,000 pounds of momentum. The rhino's eyesight is exceedingly poor. It is virtually blind beyond 30 feet, but hearing and smell compensate for everything. Ears rotate independently, like satellite dishes, scanning every direction. The rhino's olfactory system detects an intruder from more than half a mile away, even against the wind. Yet that simplicity, raw force wielded without intellect drove this species to the brink of extinction. The keratin horn became the most coveted commodity on the black market, and no survival strategy could outrun a bullet. Under African Parks management, Akagera's black rhinos are guarded with iron resolve, 24-hour armed patrols, aerial surveillance, canine tracking teams, and rangers who stake their lives on this species' future. Their comeback is proof of a deeper truth. Sometimes the greatest strength comes from the outside, from the will of humans determined to right a wrong. But not every confrontation here demands horns or fangs. One species fights with the simplest weapon of all height. The Maasai giraffe, the tallest animal on Earth. An adult male rises to nearly 20 feet, its heart pumping blood upward at a pressure twice that of any other mammal. A tongue stretching 18 to 20 inches, coated in dark violet melanin, a natural shield against ultraviolet radiation. Every day, the giraffe extends that prehensile tongue through forests of razor-sharp acacia, thorns, spines capable of puncturing a leather boot, curling individual leaves with a dexterity that few species on the continent can. Rival. Atop the skull sit 2 ossicones, not hollow like antelope horns, but solid bone throughout. In older males, calcium deposits thicken the bone over time, adding layer upon layer of density. The ossicone transforms from a blunt stub into a lethal close combat weapon. When 2 males compete for mating rights during the breeding season, they engage in a ritual combat known as necking, one of the most striking displays of strength in Africa. Necks exceeding 6 feet sway like organic suspension bridges, then slam into each other with bone-jarring force. Each blow delivers the kinetic energy of a heavyweight punch. The crack of impact carries far across the grassland, audible from hundreds of yards away. Yet despite the violence of the display, most contests end without bloodshed or lasting injury. The weaker male retreats. The stronger earns mating rights. Ritual governs these encounters, though a precisely placed strike to the cervical vertebrae can render an opponent unconscious. Maasai giraffes from Kenya were reintroduced to Akagera. Today, their silhouettes stand as living icons of this reborn landscape. But Akagera is not shaped solely by the giants that tear open the sky. When the gaze drops below the acacia canopy and into the sun-scorched grass, the rhythm of the grassland grows harsher, more urgent, and infinitely more dangerous. At ground level, violence is no longer a display of dominance or ceremony. This arena demands armored warriors carrying weapons that can truly kill. The roan antelope, weighing up to 660 pounds, standing nearly 5 feet at the shoulder, with a distinctive black and white facial mask, one of Africa's largest antelope species. Akagera stands as one of their last critical strongholds on the entire African continent, a refuge where this declining species still thrives in viable numbers. Curved horns sweeping backward from the crown, ridged along their length and tapering to lethal points, these are not ornamental. They are genuine combat weapons, capable of goring any attacker reckless enough to press the charge. A single thrust from a roan antelope can puncture a lion's abdomen. Few predators dare a head-on confrontation. But the most notable trait of the roan antelope is not individual strength or the sharpness of its horns. It is how they organize when danger arrives. Roan antelope society operates as a strict matriarchy. The dominant female leads every migration. Males patrol the perimeter and defend against threats. When a predator approaches, the roan herd does not scatter in panic. It does not flee. It turns and faces the threat. They form a phalanx, adults facing outward, each pair of curved horns aimed at the enemy. Calves are pushed into the center of the protective ring. This formation transforms the herd from prey into a fortress bristling with blades. Lions see a wall of horns and usually choose an easier target. Organizational intelligence. The way each individual knows its position and holds that position as death bears down. Which strategy do you believe is most effective, individual strength or collective formation? Share your thoughts with WildVerse in the comments below. But in Akagera, all of these strategies, fangs, horns, stripes, formations, are tested by a single truth. The wilderness has no rules. The strongest can fall to the most patient. The smartest can lose to the most numerous. Ahead, where the golden grassland meets the papyrus-choked marshland, the fiercest and most brutal confrontations in all of Akagera lie in wait. Where raw power, underwater territory, and savage force collide in a natural arena without a referee. The hippopotamus, a creature most of the world considers gentle and almost comical round barrel belly, small beady eyes, yawning lazily beneath the equatorial sun. That image is the most dangerous illusion in all of Africa. Hippos kill more people than any other large mammal on this continent. More than lions, more than crocodiles, more than Cape buffalo. An adult male weighs up to 4,000 pounds of densely packed bulk, its body stretching beyond 16 feet from snout to tail. Standing on the riverbank, legs half buried in mud, it appears sluggish and inoffensive. But beneath the surface, the hippo moves with astonishing speed. Feet touching the riverbed, the body glides through water like an armored submarine. On land, they reach nearly 30 miles per hour faster than any human sprinter. At Lake Ihema, the beating heart of Akagera's wetlands hippo density, ranks among the highest in East Africa. Herds of more than 50 jostle on the water's surface, each occupying a position won through blood. The hippo's bite force reaches nearly 2,000 psi, 3 times that of a lion. Jaws gape to almost 150 degrees, the widest opening of any living mammal. Lower canines grow up to 20 inches long, continuously self-sharpening as they grind against the upper tusks. Not for eating hippos graze on grass. The canines exist for a single purpose: to kill. Hippo skin measures nearly 2 inches thick along the back and flanks natural armor that a lion's fangs can barely penetrate. But that hide contains no sweat glands. Under the African sun, the hippo dehydrates rapidly. That is why it spends 16 hours a day submerged. The skin secretes a viscous red fluid once called blood sweat. In reality, it is a blend of hipposudoric and norhipposudoric acid, a natural barrier against ultraviolet radiation and bacteria. Modern science has managed to decode and synthesize this very compound in the laboratory. Yet, it remains profoundly unstable, breaking down almost instantly. 40 million years of evolution have bestowed upon the hippopotamus a flawless, remarkably stable sunscreen, an exquisite biochemical masterpiece that human ingenuity has yet to fully replicate for our own practical use. Beneath the surface of Lake Ihema, bull hippos establish territories with merciless aggression. Every stretch of river, every deep pool has an owner. Trespassers are attacked immediately. 2 bulls charge each other, jaws flung wide, tusks clashing with enough force to split a wooden boat in half. Territorial battles can last for hours. Blood stains the water red. The loser carries scars for life if it survives at all. On land, the hippo becomes an entirely different creature. Each night, they leave the water to graze, consuming roughly 80 pounds of grass before dawn. They follow fixed routes, hippo trails, worn deep into the riverbank across generations. These ancient paths become natural water channels, reshaping the topography of the wetland. Hippo dung, thousands of pounds deposited on the lake floor every day, is the primary nutrient source for the entire aquatic ecosystem. Fish, algae, microorganisms all depend on this cycle. Scientists call the hippo an ecosystem engineer, a species that does not merely inhabit its environment, but rebuilds it in ways no other creature can replicate. Female hippos give birth underwater, a newborn weighing roughly 100 pounds, and it must swim to the surface to draw its very first breath. A hippo mother defends her calf with ferocity beyond all measure. Crocodiles, lions, even fellow bull hippos, anything approaching the calf faces jaws flung wide open. But intelligence is not the hippo's forte. They do not forge coalitions like baboons. They do not coordinate hunts like lions. They do not communicate with the subtlety of elephants. The hippo fights with the simplest tools available: raw strength, territory, and aggression that accepts no negotiation. When lions approach the waterline after dark, the hippo does not flee. It charges straight at the predator. Lions, for all their tactical sophistication, usually choose to retreat. In Akagera, the hippo stands as proof of a blunt reality. Sometimes, intelligence cannot defeat pure force. Sometimes, the biggest, the most aggressive, simply wins. With more than 200 individuals already ranging beyond the park's borders, Akagera's hippo population is booming proof that brute force remains a strategy endorsed by time itself. The contest between intellect and raw power in Akagera has no final act. It plays out every night, when hippos leave the water and tread into the lion's domain. And in the midst of that nightly contest between cunning and power, a third species stands unflinching, unmoved by both lion and hippo. The African Cape buffalo, the Black Death, the name bestowed by African hunters upon the animal that even lions approach with caution. An adult bull weighs close to 2,000 pounds, standing more than 5.5 feet at the shoulder, its gaze carrying the flat hostility of an animal that has survived everything. A body packed with corded muscle, sheathed in a hide so thick that tsetse flies struggle to penetrate it. Older bulls carry dozens of scars, each a testament to encounters with lions they survived. But the most fearsome weapon sits atop the skull, the fused horn boss, a single slab of bone shielding the entire cranium. A charge from a full-grown buffalo delivers enough force to flip a lion's body through the air. Lions know this. They have learned the cost of underestimating that horn. A pride will almost never attack a solitary bull standing its ground. But when lions target a calf or an aging cow lagging behind the herd, the equation shifts entirely, and the buffalo's collective fury awakens. The herd responds with a counterattack. Adults wheel around, line up shoulder to shoulder, and charge directly into the lion pride with horns lowered. Hundreds of buffalo, each close to 1,000 pounds, stampeding in unified fury. The ground trembles. Dust billows upward, obscuring everything. Lionesses are forced to release their kill and run. In a war of numbers, the heavier side always prevails. Cape buffalo routinely return to rescue herd members already seized by lions, the only species in Africa that does this systematically. Not out of sentiment, but because the herd needs every individual to sustain its defensive strength. The individual power of a Cape buffalo is formidable, but the collective power of the herd is nearly invincible. Sharing Akagera's landscape, another species exists smaller, swifter, and precise, down to the fraction of an inch, the serval. Weighing roughly 30 pounds, barely a fraction of a lion's mass, yet possessing the longest legs of any cat relative to body size, giving it the proportions of an athlete sculpted for explosive vertical power. Oversized satellite dish ears rotate a full 180 degrees independently of each other, forming a flawless biological radar that misses nothing. They register every sound the grassland produces. The scratch of a mole rat shifting through underground tunnels, the muffled flutter of a quail beating its wings through waist-high grass, even the faint rasp of an insect's legs crossing bare soil. The serval's hunting success rate stands at 50% double that of the lion, and one of the highest of any wild cat on Earth. Not because it is stronger, because it is more precise. The serval wastes no energy. Every leap is a calculation angle, distance, wind speed. Capable of 50 miles per hour, and vertical leaps exceeding 5 feet from a standing position, the serval transforms every hunt into calculated artistry. It needs neither the lion's power, nor the hippo's jaws, nor the buffalo's formation. It needs only precision, and in Akagera, precision sometimes outvalues everything. Lions, hippos, Cape buffalo, serval, each species carries a distinct strategy: strength, brute force, numbers, precision. But the answer to the opening question, brain or brawn, lies with none of them. It rests with the final two species, two creatures, representing the oldest forms of intelligence. One wields patience, the other wields memory. Consider the patient one first, the creature that has outlasted every other predator on this list, the Nile crocodile. A reptile that has persisted, virtually unchanged in form, for more than 200 million years, surviving all 5 mass extinction events that reshaped life on Earth, including the asteroid impact that erased the dinosaurs 66 million years ago. While millions of species vanished, the crocodile endured, unchanged, no need for change. The design was perfected from the start. Bite force, exceeding 3,000 psi, among the most powerful jaw pressures ever recorded in a living animal, strong enough to crush the femur of a full-grown zebra in a single closing motion. Along the jawline, thousands of microscopic integumentary sensory organs, dome-shaped pressure receptors unique to crocodilians, line the skin, each one 10 times more sensitive than a human fingertip. The crocodile detects the faintest ripple on the water. An antelope drinking 10 feet away, the crocodile knows its exact position, its weight, and its drinking rhythm. And it waits, not for minutes, not for hours. The Nile crocodile can fast for months on end. Heart rate drops to just a few beats per minute. Metabolism falls to a bare minimum. The body shifts into an energy conservation mode that no mammal can emulate. Patience, not as a virtue, but as a survival strategy deployed on a scale where time itself becomes a weapon no warm-blooded creature can wield. When prey steps within range, the strike unfolds in a fraction of a second. Jaws snap shut. Then comes the death roll, the armored body spinning on its axis to wrench the victim apart. But the very jaws that deal death with such mechanical precision are also, paradoxically, the gentlest instruments in the wild. A female crocodile incubates her eggs for 80 to 90 days, fasting, guarding the nest without leaving it for a single second. 3 months without food. Her body loses up to 30% of its mass, but her amber eyes never leave the mound of earth that holds her future. When the eggs hatch, the mother uses her own jaws, jaws capable of 3,000 psi, to gently lift each hatchling and carry it to the water. Bite force applied. 0. Not a single pound of pressure. Jaw control at a level of finesse that science has yet to fully explain or replicate. The most savage power and the most absolute tenderness, two extremes that seem irreconcilable yet coexist within the body of a single creature. Yet 75% of crocodile nests are destroyed before they hatch by Nile monitors, by baboons, by nature itself. The mother knows this, knows the odds are stacked against her clutch. And still she guards, still she fasts, still she waits, day after sun-baked day. Patience, not blind instinct, but a decision to invest every reserve of energy in the next generation, despite knowing that most will not survive. Is that intelligence? Or is it something deeper still? Something 200 million years of evolution have carved into bone? The answer may lie with the final species in this story, the one whose weapon is not force, not stealth, but something far older. The African elephant, the largest land animal on Earth, and perhaps the species with the most extraordinary memory. 26 orphaned calves from Bugesera were brought to Akagera. 26 small lives, stripped of mothers, stripped of herds, stripped of everything an elephant needs to understand the world. Today, Akagera's elephant population exceeds 133 individuals. From 26 to over 130. That revival stretches across more than half a century. An adult elephant requires between 330 and 440 pounds of food each day. It must spend 16 of every 24 hours eating to sustain its weight. Every footstep an elephant takes reshapes the landscape. They topple trees to strip bark. They excavate earth for minerals. They carve pathways that dozens of other species follow. But what makes the elephant truly exceptional is not its size or its appetite. It is the brain, and what that brain remembers. The temporal lobe of the elephant, the brain region responsible for memory, is larger than that of any other land animal. The matriarch, always the oldest female, remembers the location of water sources from 30 years past. During drought, that memory is the difference between life and death for the entire herd. Elephants communicate through infrasound frequencies below the human hearing threshold, transmitted through the ground over distances exceeding 6 miles. Fat pads in their feet detect these seismic vibrations. Elephants listen with their feet. A matriarchal society. Knowledge passed from mother to daughter. Each generation adds another layer of memory to the herd's survival map. And when a member of the herd dies, elephants do not simply walk away. They do something that no other land mammal does. They stand beside the fallen body. Trunks reach down to touch the cold remains with unmistakable gentleness. Sometimes they stand for hours in silence, no feeding, no movement, no sound. Elephants return to the bones of fallen companions years afterward. They recognize the bones of their own herd members and linger longer than they would beside the bones of strangers. Emotional intelligence, not abstract language, not political strategy, but the capacity to remember and the capacity to grieve. Akagera today, home to lions, leopards, Cape buffalo, elephants, and black rhinos, is a complete Big Five landscape. This revival ranks among the most remarkable conservation achievements anywhere on the African continent. The transformation of a park, once ravaged by unchecked poaching and civil conflict, into a thriving, self-sustaining ecosystem. Under African park stewardship, the wildlife's greatest enemy, humankind, has become its ally. The white-backed vulture, a critically endangered species teetering on the edge of continental extinction, is finding sanctuary within Akagera's protected borders. With a wingspan exceeding 7 feet, they ride thermal currents to altitudes of 10,000 feet. From that height, their acute eyes detect a carcass 4 miles away. A flock of 50 descending on a carcass can strip a 200-pound antelope down to bare bone in 20 minutes flat. No cleanup crew in the natural world operates with greater speed or efficiency. The vulture's stomach carries a pH close to 1 acidic enough to neutralize anthrax, cholera, and botulism bacteria. They cleanse the dead, preventing disease from spreading. Lose the vulture, and the ecosystem loses its immune system, the invisible sanitation network that has kept African grasslands free of epidemic disease for millennia. Akagera understands this truth intimately. Across this vast African landscape, after all the blood and silence, the opening question has finally found its answer. Brain or brawn in the great arena of acacia, which ultimately decides who lives and who dies. The answer after 200 million years of evidence is neither one alone. Baboons survive through cunning, lions through the pride, hippos through brute force, Cape buffalo through numbers, roan antelope through formation, the serval through precision, leopards through the dark. Crocodiles endure through patience, the black rhino through 11th-hour human intervention. But elephants survive through something no other species can match: memory. In acacia, the ultimate survivor is not the strongest, not the fastest, not the smartest, and not the most aggressive. It is the one that remembers the last drought, remembers the dried well, remembers the paths of its ancestors. The one that remembers the past is the one that lives into the future. Thank you for journeying with WildVerse. The natural world still holds countless stories waiting to be told. If you have not yet subscribed, now is the perfect time. We will see you on the next expedition. The lion, sovereign of the Savannah. Its authority is found not in solitude, but in family. Its power is forged in cooperation. This is the kingdom of the lion. A world where courage is measured in protection. A pride is not merely a collection, but a structured society, bound by unwritten laws. The heart of the pride is the lioness's sisters, mothers, and tireless hunters. Together, they weave a network of cooperation, a living tapestry of kinship and instinct. A newborn cub is not its mother's charge alone, but the child of the entire pride. For the young, life begins as a game, honing the skills they will one day need. But beneath such innocence lies a harsher truth. Every dawn is a wager, and a constant hunger drives the hunt. The savannah is both generous and cruel. It offers life in abundance, yet it exacts a heavy price for every meal. To eat, the lions must hunt, and their strength lies in their unity. Every footstep is calculated, every movement a whisper of silent communication. Their golden coats blend perfectly with the sun-scorched grasses, a lethal camouflage. Hunting as a pride, they employ sophisticated tactics. Some lionesses drive the prey toward an ambush, where others lie in wait to strike. A single misstep from the prey is all it takes. In a breathtaking instant, the chase is over. Tonight, the pride will feast. But rivals do not only come from their own kind. In the shadows, the hyenas watch. Intelligent and relentless, they wait for a moment of exhaustion after the kill. Born survivors, spotted hyenas possess a muscular frame adapted for endurance and power. They live in large, matriarchal clans, led by an alpha female who holds absolute authority. Contrary to myth, hyenas are not just scavengers. They are intelligent, strategic hunters. Their cooperative abilities and communication skills can rival those of some primates. Their infamous laugh is no chaotic chorus. It is a complex language of identity and position, a way to summon the clan or declare status. In the contest for food, lions often have the upper hand. Studies show that around 60% of conflicts involve lions stealing kills from hyenas. When hyena numbers are great, however, the balance of power can shift. A clan of 15 to 20 hyenas can overwhelm even a formidable pride of lions. This fierce competition is integral to maintaining the ecosystem's equilibrium. Above, the vultures circle, tireless sentinels, the patient opportunists awaiting a turn. But perhaps the most dangerous adversary is no scavenger. The African buffalo, immense and unpredictable, can turn a predator into prey in an instant. For the lions, they are both a great prize and a grave peril. The pride watches from a distance, muscles tensed, eyes fixed. The battle is a maelstrom of dust and fury, where every second counts. The lions must work as one, scattering the herd to isolate a weaker member. But unlike the lion, who rules by the strength of the pride, or the hyena, who survives through tenacity, another predator has but one ace: speed. Here in Kafue National Park, the Southeast African cheetah is the fastest land mammal on Earth. Capable of speeds exceeding 60 miles per hour, its body is a masterpiece of engineering. Unlike most cats, the cheetah is diurnal. It hunts in the golden hours, the early morning and late afternoon, to avoid confrontation with larger predators. In one spectacular burst, it launches into the chase, reaching its top. Its spine is not bone, but a living bow, propelling it across the savannah, not by running, but by flying low over the ground. And yet, the cheetah's success rate is only 50%. The exertion of such an explosive movement pushes its body to its thermal limits. It cannot eat immediately, but needs 5 to 10 minutes to cool down a window of extreme vulnerability. While the cheetah commands the day, another shadow masters the night. Beneath the sparse canopy of the Miombo woodland, the leopard is a master of concealment. Its golden, rosetted coat merges effortlessly with the dappled light. Solitary and largely nocturnal, the leopard relies on the art of the ambush. Rather than chasing, it watches and waits, sometimes for hours on end. When the distance closes, in an explosion of muscle and power, the cat lunges. But a successful hunt is only the beginning. Hidden in the foliage, it can enjoy its prize in peace. The dry season arrives, and a changing climate is reshaping everything. But predator and prey are ever present, lurking in every moment. A single moment of vulnerability can seal a fate. And it is this very fragility that forges the fierce beauty of the wild. From the ancient heart of Africa, a colossal arena rises, a kingdom where primal forces still shape destiny. And nature's most formidable architects carve their lives in the shadow of giants. Herds of wildebeest and zebra merge, a vibrant current of life. The Ngorongoro Crater, where peace is an illusion. The unforgiving wild is the reality. In this natural amphitheater, species are locked in a constant struggle for survival, forging a delicate balance across the entire ecosystem. This is the Ngorongoro crater, the ultimate crucible of life, where the lords of the savannah are forever locked in a contest for dominion. But the serene beauty of the dawn is a deception. Here, the light brings not salvation, but the tolling bell that signals the beginning of the hunt. Under the first rays of sun that touch the Ngorongoro crater, a majestic landscape is revealed, a perfect stage for life and death confrontations. Around the wetlands of the Goringop swamp, herds of African buffalo move in silence, gathering in tight formations to protect one another. However, from deep within the dense tall grasses, a pair of sharp eyes is watching. It is a lion. It observes its prey with a calculated calm, always ready to launch into the hunt with agility and decisiveness. But no attack is easy. A powerful gore from an adult buffalo can severely injure a lion. However, this is not just a confrontation between two species. In the sky, a Ruppel's griffon vulture circles, waiting for the opportunity to clean up the remnants of the battle. On the ground, hyenas sneakily lurk, looking for a chance to steal the prize from the so-called king of the savannah. In a self-contained natural arena, the classic confrontation between two forces of the savannah unfolds: the lion and the African buffalo. This is a battle between the most formidable predator and the most fearsome herbivore, an ultimate test that decides the balance of the entire ecosystem. The Ngorongoro lions, forged in this isolated environment, are renowned for their large stature and superior strength. Their bodies are perfect killing machines, from their crushing jaws to their razor-sharp claws. For the male, the dense mane is not only a symbol of power and health to attract mates, but also a natural armor in life-or-death battles. Their hunting strategy is a symphony of brutality and precision. Often led by the females, they coordinate in silence, using terrifying speed and long leaps to isolate a weak individual from the herd. However, the king of the savannah does not always win. Even with sophisticated tactics, their success rate is only about 30%, a figure that shows the immense danger and challenge when facing resilient prey like the African buffalo. And the reason for those failures lies in their very target. an adversary that never accepts the role of victim, but is ready to turn the hunter into the hunted. Inside the natural fortress of the Ngorongoro crater, the African buffalo reigns. They are not just gentle grazers, but a symbol of primal power and an unbreakable spirit of unity. This is one of the best armed herbivores on the planet. Weighing up to a ton, their bodies are a solid mass of muscle. But their real weapon lies in their famous horns, a defensive shield and a deadly offensive tool. However, the greatest strength of the buffalo is not in the individual, but in the collective. They form a living, mobile fortress, where every member has a role. When a predator dares to attack, the herd's response is immediate and absolute. They will form a wall of horn and muscle that is almost impenetrable, a defensive circle protecting the young and the weak at the center. It is this ironclad unity that has made the African buffalo not just prey, but one of the most formidable and respected forces on the savannah. The Ngorongoro crater, with its wild beauty and the vibrant wetland system around Lake Magadi, is home to one of Africa's rarest species, the black rhino. This is one of the few remaining black rhino populations in East Africa, with a total estimated number of only about 30 recorded individuals. They usually live near Lake Magadi, where the abundant water source and stable vegetation provide the necessary conditions for their survival. The black rhino possesses a powerful body, weighing from 1,800 to 3,100 pounds. Its thick, dark gray skin protects it from both the harsh climate and potential attacks. Its characteristic curved horns, with the front one reaching up to 20 inches, are not only a defensive tool, but also help them dig for food. The solitary or mother calf living habit helps the black rhino reduce the risk of being detected by predators or humans. However, this trait also poses challenges for the species' reproduction and conservation. Poaching for their horns remains the main cause of the severe decline in their numbers. The Ngorongoro crater, with its pristine beauty and the vibrant wetland system around Lake Magadi, is home to one of Africa's most majestic species, the African elephant. With its colossal size and dominant power, the African elephant is not only the largest land mammal on the planet, but also an essential part of the diverse ecological tapestry of this region. The evolutionary origins of the African elephant date back millions of years. Over time, they have adapted to various habitats, becoming a symbol of resilience in the natural world. In the Ngorongoro crater, the elephant population remains stable, with about 300 to 400 individuals concentrated near the lakes and wetlands, especially the Goringop swamp area, where water and vegetation are plentiful. The elephant's foraging behavior mainly takes place in the early morning and late evening, when the weather is cooler. During the day, they often seek shade or stay in the wetlands to cool off. Adult African elephants in Ngorongoro can weigh from 9,000 to over 13,000 pounds, stand nearly 13 feet at the shoulder, and measure between 20 and 25 feet in length, excluding the trunk. Their large ears have a dual function, regulating body temperature and as a communication tool. Their tusks can reach about 6.5 to 8 feet in length and weigh dozens of kilograms each. In extremely rare cases, exceptionally large tusks might approach 10 feet and nearly 200 pounds. With their majestic build, African elephants have almost no natural enemies. When they feel threatened, they use their trunks and tusks to counterattack. However, the most important factor is not just physical strength, but the unity of the herd. An adult female, known as the matriarch, usually leads the herd, guiding them with experience and intelligence to find food and deal with danger. When there is any sign of a threat, the adult individuals will move to the front, forming a protective barrier that shields the young at the center. By transforming the landscape, creating migration corridors, and maintaining natural resources, the African elephant plays a crucial role in shaping the ecology of the entire Ngorongoro crater. Their presence is a living testament to the order and harmony that creation has inscribed in nature. In the calm waters of the Goringop swamp, the hippopotamus plays an essential role in maintaining the stability of the local ecosystem. Its evolutionary history dates back to a common ancestor with whales, appearing about 55 million years ago. Over time, this species has adapted to live in freshwater environments. In the Ngorongoro crater, hippos are concentrated mainly in the lakes and wetlands, like the Goringop swamp, where the water and vegetation conditions are ideal for their life. With an average weight of 3,000 to 4,000 pounds, the hippopotamus is a symbol of strength and endurance. Its cylindrical and powerful body, along with a thick skin of about 2 inches, allows it to withstand harsh environmental conditions and minimize water loss. Its skin secretes a red substance, often called blood sweat, which helps protect it from UV rays and prevent bacterial infections, acting as a natural suit of armor. Their canine teeth, which can be up to 20 inches long, are an effective defensive weapon and a symbol of power in territorial disputes. Hippos spend most of the day submerged in water to maintain their body temperature. Its eyes, ears, and nostrils are located on top of its head, allowing it to observe and breathe with ease. At night, the hippo comes ashore to forage. It is a herbivore, consuming about 80 pounds of vegetation per night, mainly soft grasses growing near the shore. This nocturnal feeding habit also helps it avoid the daytime heat and reduce the risk of being attacked by predators. Despite its gentle appearance, the hippopotamus is actually one of the most aggressive animals in Africa. When it feels threatened, it uses its sharp canine teeth and a powerful bite of up to 1,800 psi to defend itself. In the ecosystem of the Ngorongoro crater, the hippopotamus is an indispensable link. Thanks to their constant movement in the water, they create natural circulation channels and disperse nutrients through their feces, helping to improve the quality of aquatic vegetation. These activities not only maintain the ecological balance, but also create living conditions for many other species, from small fish to water birds. The Ngorongoro crater, a vast caldera, is not only home to large animals, but also a paradise for over 500 species of birds. From the wetlands like the Goringop Swamp to the Noitokitok hot springs, the presence of these small wings creates a colorful ecological landscape, reflecting the delicate balance of nature. The green grasslands and open woodlands around are also home to countless resident bird species. The weaver bird stands out, with its skillfully woven nests hanging from branches like small works of art. Meanwhile, the superb starling with its iridescent plumage flits among the low bushes. These birds not only beautify the landscape, but also play an essential role in seed dispersal. Amidst that serene silence, the gray-crowned crane appears, standing out with its vibrant plumage and a golden crown like a living symbol of Africa. Besides its unique appearance, this bird also plays a significant role in maintaining the ecological balance within this sacred caldera. The gray-crowned crane belongs to the Gruidae family, one of the most ancient bird lineages with an evolutionary history spanning millions of years. Unlike many other crane species, this bird has the ability to perch on trees thanks to its flexible leg structure with long toes. This feature allows it to adapt to a wide range of habitats, from wetlands and grasslands to open woodland areas. In the Ngorongoro crater, where unique natural elements converge, this species has found an ideal environment to thrive. Currently, it is estimated that there are about 100 to 150 grey-crowned cranes in the Ngorongoro crater area. However, globally, their numbers have declined significantly, with a total population of less than 50,000 individuals, leading the IUCN to classify this species as endangered. These birds often forage in shallow waters and grasslands near wetlands. As omnivores, they use their strong beaks to search for insects, small animals, seeds, and aquatic plants. The grey-crowned crane is also famous for the elegant dances it performs during the breeding season or to strengthen pair bonds. As a monogamous species, these birds form stable pairs, building nests and raising their young together. On the surface of Lake Magadi, thousands of lesser flamingos gather, creating a pink tableau of extraordinary beauty. Under the gentle sunset, when the surface of Lake Magadi reflects the pink of the flamingo's wings, an incredible visual spectacle is created. The lesser flamingo is one of the oldest recorded bird species. Their ancestors early adapted to alkaline environments, a harsh habitat where few species can survive. Through millions of years of evolution, they have become specialists in living in special lakes like Magadi. Lake Magadi, with its high alkalinity, provides ideal conditions for the lesser flamingo. It is estimated that 5,000 to 15,000 individuals inhabit this area. The lesser flamingo demonstrates remarkable adaptability to the alkaline and mineral-rich waters. The thick skin on their legs protects them from chemical corrosion. Living in large flocks not only increases their ability to detect threats, but also allows them to quickly identify areas with abundant food. The feeding behavior of the lesser flamingo is a harmonious dance with its environment. They move gently through the shallow water, using their curved beaks to filter spirulina algae and cyanobacteria. Each individual can consume several hundred grams of food per day, which not only maintains their health, but also regulates the algae biomass, improving the lake's water quality. Amidst the green grasslands stretching inside the Ngorongoro crater, the serval moves in silence, blending into the wild environment. This small wild cat is an essential part of the ecological structure here, where its elegance combines perfectly with a latent power. with a slender body, large, ever-alert ears, and silent movements, the serval becomes a mysterious but extremely precise predator. The serval is one of the oldest surviving cat species, reflecting the long evolution of small cats in Africa. This cat is widely distributed in sub-Saharan Africa, especially in savanna, swamp, and open woodland areas. In the Ngorongoro crater, the serval is mainly found on the western plains. The serval has a slender build with a height of 21 to 24 inches and a weight of 15 to 40 pounds. Its golden coat, with distinct black spots, allows it to camouflage effectively in the tall grass. Its large ears, one of its most notable features, can detect the slightest sounds of rodents. Its long legs give it agility and an impressive jumping ability, up to 12 feet in height and 9 feet in length, allowing it to attack from different angles. Its hunting strategy combines patience with speed. It moves slowly through the tall grass, its ears pricked to listen for any small movement. When it identifies its prey, it lunges with a quick speed and launches a powerful leap, using its sharp claws to snatch it. Its hunting efficiency is remarkable, with a success rate of up to 50%, much higher than many larger cat species. Grant's zebra is widely distributed in East Africa, from Tanzania to Kenya and Uganda, with a significant density in the Ngorongoro crater. It is estimated that the Grant zebra population in this area ranges from 4,000 to 5,000 individuals, playing a fundamental role in the ecological balance of the region. Grant's zebra can stand from 3.6 to 4.9 feet tall, with a weight of 485 to 700 pounds. Each individual has a unique stripe pattern, acting as a biological fingerprint, allowing them to easily recognize each other in the herd. Besides their unique beauty, these stripes also have essential functions for the species' survival. The black and white stripe pattern is not only for individual identification, but also acts as a camouflage when moving. When the whole herd moves in unison, predators can be disoriented by the optical effect. In addition, the stripes help regulate body temperature by creating air currents on the skin's surface, allowing the zebra to withstand the scorching heat of the savanna. Grant's zebra lives in small family groups, usually consisting of an adult male, a few females, and their young. During the migratory season, these small groups can merge into large herds of up to thousands of individuals. Their diet consists mainly of grass, making up to 90% of their intake. Thanks to an efficient digestive system, they can process even the tough grasses that other herbivores cannot utilize. But on the Ngorongoro savanna, perfect stripes do not always save a life. As the sun sets, the dance of survival begins to reveal its ruthless face. A zebra, separated from its herd. It has made a mistake. The golden phantoms lower themselves, gliding silently through the scorched grass. The distance is erased in an instant. Half a ton of force brings the prey down. Steel jaws clamp onto the throat. The battle is over. Victory belongs to the pride. In Ngorongoro, the death of one is the life of another. In the Ngorongoro crater, herds of Grant's gazelles silently cross the rolling grasslands, each gentle step like a wild melody of nature. This subspecies is distributed mainly in the East African region, from Tanzania and Kenya to southern Sudan. In the Ngorongoro crater, they usually inhabit the open plains, where the low vegetation and sparse thickets create an ideal environment for survival. It is estimated that the total number of Grant's gazelles in the region ranges from 1,500 to 2,000 individuals, maintaining a stable population in protected living conditions. Grant's gazelle possesses a slender yet powerful body, with a height of 31 to 37 inches, a weight of 77 to 180 pounds, and a pair of curved horns that can be up to 32 inches long. Its large eyes not only widen its field of vision, but also play an important role in detecting predators from a distance. The herd lifestyle allows Grant's gazelle to increase its chances of survival against threats. Each group usually consists of 10 to 30 individuals, with an adult male acting as the leader. Besides speed and agility, Grant's gazelle also possesses the ability to communicate effectively within the herd. They use warning sounds, body gestures, and organized movements to alert and react to danger. Around the Ngorongoro crater, the landscape does not stop at the caldera, but changes with every step. The surrounding mountain ranges, plains, and gorges reveal a whole new world. Along the mountain slopes, the Manj and Oloroinyuki rivers wind, carrying water from the highlands down to the caldera floor. Their waters not only nourish the open woodlands, but also create swamps where life congregates. The open woodlands on the crater's rim are a surprising part of the ecosystem. They are not as dense as a tropical forest, but softer, with a low canopy that shades a grass-covered ground. This is the perfect refuge for predators. The creatures that have adapted to this environment seek shelter and hunt in the shade of the canopy. Beyond the rim of the Ngorongoro crater, the Serengeti savanna stretches endlessly like a golden canvas under the sun. This is where the cheetah finds its ideal environment, an open space that allows it to display its incredible speed. Every run across the field is part of a natural symphony, telling the evolutionary story of the effort to adapt and survive in this harsh land. The cheetah's origins can be traced back millions of years, when its ancestors inhabited the vast savannas stretching from Africa to Asia and even North America. However, climate change and human impact have narrowed their distribution, and today they exist mainly in sub-Saharan Africa. In the Ngorongoro Conservation Area, cheetahs are found mainly in the grassland areas near the crater rim and around Lake Magadi. The population of this species in the area is estimated at 50 to 70 individuals, a small but important number in the complex ecosystem of the region. The cheetah is one of the few predators that hunts mainly during the day. They usually hunt in the early morning or late in the day, when the temperature is cooler and the risk of conflict with other large predators is lower. In the low grass areas, their common prey includes species like Thompson's gazelle, Grant's gazelle, and some large birds. The cheetah's hunting strategy combines patience with lightning speed. First, it approaches the prey stealthily, taking advantage of the environment to hide. When the distance closes to between 60 and 100 feet, the cheetah accelerates, capable of reaching 70 miles per hour in just a few seconds. However, the success rate for each hunt is only about 50%. Failure can be due to the prey's stamina or the intervention of other predators like hyenas, which often steal the prize without participating in the hunt. Currently, according to the IUCN classification, this species is in the vulnerable category, with a total global population of only 6,500 to 7,000 individuals. In Ngorongoro, conservation measures, such as controlling human activities and maintaining natural habitats, have helped to stabilize the cheetah population. On the grasslands at the edge of the Ngorongoro crater, the black-backed jackal glides gently through the tall bushes, its silver and black fur shimmering in the morning sun. It hunts small animals like rodents, birds, and lizards. But when the opportunity arises, it does not hesitate to join the feast on the carcasses of large animals left by lions. It often waits until the large predators have withdrawn or takes advantage of the surrounding chaos to feed. The black-backed jackal is not only intelligent but also resilient to the challenges of the environment. However, in the Ngorongoro Conservation Area, thanks to strict protection and conservation measures, their numbers remain stable at around 300 to 500 individuals. Hidden in the shade of the open woodland or concealed among rock crevices, the leopard appears as an artist of mystery, silently waiting for the perfect moment to act. Its yellowish-brown coat, with its characteristic black spots, blends with the light and shadow of the environment, making it a stealthy figure when stalking. The leopard's body is a masterpiece of evolution, designed to combine strength and agility. It is 4 to 6 feet long, weighs from 80 to 150 pounds, and has a tail nearly 3 feet long that helps it balance when climbing. Its well-developed muscles and sharp claws allow it to climb trees with ease, even while dragging prey heavier than its own weight. The leopard is solitary, only appearing in pairs during the mating season or when the mother is caring for her young. It spends most of the day resting on branches or in cool places and is truly active at dawn or dusk. On the periphery of the Ngorongoro crater, it often chooses the intermediate areas between open woodland and grassland. Small antelopes like Thompson's gazelle or impala are its frequent prey. However, it can also hunt large birds, hares, or rodents when necessary. Its hunting success rate ranges from 30 to 50%. The leopard's hunting strategy is the pinnacle of patience and precision. It approaches its target in complete silence, reducing the distance to just 20 to 30 feet before launching a surprise attack. A quick and precise leap combined with a fatal bite to the neck or nape of the prey ends the hunt in just a few seconds. In the context of climate change and human pressure, the animals here face many threats. This area is like a giant natural theater, with volcanic rock walls up to 2,000 feet high. This unique geological structure has created a closed space where biodiversity thrives, but at the same time poses significant limits on mobility and access to resources. Herbivores like wildebeest and zebra often have difficulty finding food and water, especially during prolonged dry seasons. Meanwhile, larger species, like elephants, face immense pressure due to resource scarcity. In addition, agricultural and livestock activities on the edge of the Ngorongoro Conservation Area increase competition for resources between wildlife and local communities. Grassland areas are shrinking, water resources are overexploited, and there is a potential risk of disease transmission from livestock to wildlife. In particular, African buffalo and wildebeest constantly face the loss of their habitat due to the unsustainable use of natural resources. Since 2023, the reserve has become a bright spot, with initiatives to protect endangered species like the black rhino. Anti-poaching patrol teams use drones and GPS systems, reducing poaching incidents by up to 70% compared to the period from 2018 to 2020. Meanwhile, habitat restoration projects, such as the replanting of over 7 square miles of native forest around the Goringop swamp, have helped to increase grassland area by 30%. Artificial irrigation in lakes like Lake Magadi has also allowed flamingos to continue to find refuge and food. The Ngorongoro Conservation Area, with over 600,000 visitors per year, also uses tourism revenue, about $50 million in 2023, to invest in research and conservation infrastructure. Conserving Ngorongoro in particular, and protecting the environment in general, is not just the responsibility of one organization or individual, but of all humanity. Each person can contribute to the conservation effort by supporting wildlife protection organizations, limiting the use of products derived from hunted animals, and participating in raising environmental awareness. Responsible tourism, contributing to conservation funds, and reducing our own ecological footprint are concrete actions. Protecting Ngorongoro today is to preserve the breath of nature for the future.
The cheetah, an aerodynamic masterpiece of nature. The dark tear marks running from its eyes are not for mourning. They are a built-in anti-glare design, helping it to spot prey from miles away. Hunger urges it into the danger zone. The prey is a lone warthog, a creature that can survive for months without drinking, drawing moisture from tubers and roots. In just 3 seconds, the chase reaches nearly 60 miles per hour. The cheetah's spine flexes like a colossal spring, releasing all its stored energy with every 23-foot stride. But the fugitive finds its salvation underground. An abandoned burrow becomes an impregnable fortress. A warthog always reverses into its den so that its tusks, growing up to a foot long, become the last line of defense. The cheetah's gamble has not paid off. But when there is no shelter, the warthog chooses the most violent solution, to counterattack. At 220 pounds and a speed of 30 miles per hour, it charges like a cannonball, powerful enough to shatter the cheetah's slender bones. Failure in the hunt forces the cheetah to rest, but the pulse of survival continues in another form. For this family of warthogs, discipline is the key to survival in this sea of elephant grass. The tail, held bolt upright with its tufted tip, acts as a visual beacon. This simple signal helps the sounder maintain formation, preventing anyone from getting lost in an environment where visibility is almost zero. Because danger in the Serengeti comes not only from sprints of speed, it also comes from the silent ambush. But these moments of peace on the savannah are only ever temporary. As the small birds depart, the silence signals another threat. A true phantom of the Serengeti lies in wait. The leopard. The rosettes on its coat break up its outline, allowing it to dissolve into the dance of light and shadow. Its eyes, 7 times more powerful than our own, have locked onto the jugular vein of its victim. Unlike the cheetah, the leopard's body is a mass of muscle built for short, explosive bursts of power rather than long-distance chases. Victory is swift. The meal, however, cannot yet begin. Even in the most secluded hiding place, it is not safe. This is when nature's harshest law is enforced. The powerful take all. A male lion, a 450-pound biological tank, appears. With a bite force of around 650 pounds per square inch, it can crush the skull of any rival. This is a phenomenon known to science as kleptoparasitism, theft by another species. The leopard is fortunate to escape. It knows this is a battle it cannot win. The loss is real, but the instinct to survive is greater. Perhaps 20% of its kills will be lost to lions or hyenas. For the lion, stealing from smaller predators is an efficient, energy-saving strategy. Supreme power on the plains is determined not by skill, but by brute force. But on the southern plains of the Serengeti, where there are no trees for cover, the lion's muscular power becomes a disadvantage. This is a stage set for speed, and the cheetah is its brightest star. The pressure of her own hunger and of the helpless cubs waiting for her forces the mother to concentrate. Here in the Serengeti, the statistics are grim. Only 5% of cheetah cubs survive to adulthood. Every hunt is a life or death gamble. To become the fastest creature on the planet, the cheetah has made a harsh pact with evolution. It has sacrificed strength for speed. Its skeleton is slender and light. Its claws, not fully retractable, act like the spikes on a sprinter's shoe to grip the earth. It has no weapons for close quarters combat. And the opportunists are always aware of that. Victory is secured, but the mother cannot yet return to her cubs. After an exhausting sprint, her body temperature continues to rise, forcing her to rest and cool down. This is the moment she is at her most vulnerable. And the baboons know it. They approach with insolence, led by aggressive alpha males. Their intent is clear in their 2-inch canine teeth. Surrender the kill. The ground thumping, the guttural snarls, and the hungry stares form a brutal psychological assault designed to break the will of the lone predator. And now, the tragedy of its evolutionary trade-off becomes starkly clear. To gain its speed, it had to sacrifice power. A delicate skeleton, claws blunted for traction, not combat. Its body was not made for physical confrontation. Against the aggression of an entire troop, it is utterly helpless. The mother must calculate for the future. An injury to her leg now would be a death sentence. But most importantly, she remembers her cubs hidden nearby. If the baboons were to find them, they would show no mercy, a brutal strategy to eliminate future competitors. Confronting a troop of baboons is never a wise choice. Her solitude is her fatal weakness.